Hi, this is Kyle Mitchell, host of Passive Income Through Multifamily Real Estate, and you are tuned into Dream Chasers, interviews with the future.
As a business person, you need to be thinking about these things. You need to be spending time with your advisors and people that you trust to move your business forward. And that's what it's all about. We don't know everything. And that's what we rely on others to share that information with us. So it's a business decision like anything else. Do I have an hour to find out how I can seriously limit my tax liabilities and protect my assets? If you don't have that hour, you might end up spending hours and hours and maybe years in court fighting lawsuits and judgments and all kinds of other things. So it's a choice like everything else.
This is Dream Chasers, episode 65, with Yaron Kimelman. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Adam Carswell, and welcome to Dream Chasers, interviews with the future. On Dream Chasers, we interview individuals with supernatural amounts of potential based on early success in their careers. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's get straight to the interview. Hey guys, this is Adam Carswell, and today I'm joined by Yaron Kimelman. Yaron is a strategist at The Economic Strategist. He's originally from Boston, Massachusetts, went to the Hebrew Theological College and Loyola University in Chicago, and of course, now he lives in Chicago. Yaron, thank you for being on the show, and do you have any opening remarks for my listeners?
Well, thanks for having me, Adam, and do I have any opening remarks? No, I'm just really excited to be on this call with you and to share my story with you and with your listeners.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And guys, to give you some context here, like so many other dream chasers now, I met Yaron on LinkedIn, and we were a part of a 10-day commercial real estate challenge. I think I may have even mentioned this on a previous episode with someone else, and I wish I could remember who it was off the top of my head. Oh, Bernard Reese, who was recently on the show as well. So we were all in this group of commercial real estate professionals on LinkedIn that were challenged by our dear friend Yona Weiss to make a post related to commercial real estate, or just make a post in general, for 10 days in a row. And for anyone out there looking to really take their LinkedIn game to the next level, I would have to say orchestrating or putting together something similar like this, what Yona did, man, it's powerful. It's amazing. Yaron and I really feel like we've gotten to know each other a lot over the past month now. And this is, well, it feels like it's the first time we're talking. We did have one phone call before this. So that's how we know each other. Yaron, I don't know if you want to chime in on that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a fantastic challenge, and it certainly took my LinkedIn game to a whole new level for a couple of reasons. Number one was because we all kind of committed, right, to posting for 10 days straight. And that really makes you kind of dig in a lot. And you have to make it interesting because we also had a challenge to not just post, but to get a certain amount of engagement, which is sometimes like, out of your control. But you can do lots of different things to do that. And Yona was very good about providing some great tips. And so now you're not just posting, but you're also needing to engage with the people commenting on your posts to further the conversations that you can get to that, magic number.
Right.
It really worked out pretty well. I think I got, in the 10-day challenge, I got 6 qualified.
Okay.
But the point is that, yeah, it's something that I had never gotten those numbers before. And it's like anything else in life. When you commit to something and you do it day in and day out, things start to happen. Yeah, it was a great experience. And
yeah.
I do know Bernard, and a wonderful person. Amazing.
Definitely. And yeah, in regards to just for everyone listening, what Yaron meant by qualified posts. So our goal was to make sure that all 10 out of our 10 posts received at least 18 likes and 18 comments. I don't know how mine performed. To be honest, I'd have to go back and look. I say 6 out of 10. That's passing, right? That's good.
Yeah. Well, any one of those is passing for me because I don't think I had that kind of engagement before.
Right.
But yeah, hey, it was that, and it was a combination of speaking to the kinds of people that I want to be speaking with. Sometimes when you post on LinkedIn, people that are reading it, they're not really the people you're trying to engage with or your potential clients. Mm-hmm. And what this did was really bring a bunch of people together that are in the same space, really. And as far as I was concerned, were people that could potentially benefit from what it is that I do. So that was just an added benefit, including yourself. So.
Yeah, perfect. So Yaron, we are going to now step into the next level chamber. When did you realize? Yes, let's go. When did you realize that working with economic strategists and really this industry was something you wanted to take to the next level. And actually, I want to tie this in here too, real quick. How long have you been at the economic strategist?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So let's see. Let's go back a little bit, I guess. I have always been fascinated with money from a very young age. I was that kid, in 8th grade that was selling Twinkies out of his locker. Right. So always in business, always trying to make a buck. Funny thing is, I remember coming home, even though I sold a lot of Twinkies and a lot of Cokes and a lot of candy bars, I don't remember actually coming home with any money ever, which is a bit of a problem if you're in business, of course. So anyway, kind of made a commitment to change that at some point in my life. It took me many, many years to figure it out. But yeah, here I am 46. I think I got a couple years on my belt doing it right. Yeah, so I've always been thinking creatively about money, doing things to help investors leverage to accomplish a lot of things having to do with tax-free income and the things I speak about a lot. My other fascination is with just taxes. Are just an incredible encumbrance on people's capabilities of making money. I was working just working strategically with clients on some of the things that I personally knew how to do, or I knew people who knew how to do it. And then I came across just really, I think we're looking at about 3 months, really. I came across this company. It was introduced to me about a year ago, but I didn't really spend time on it. And I finally started looking into it, and that's called, that of course is the Economic Strategist. Yeah, they just took my entire understanding of what's possible to, as you say, to the next level. And it's very exciting actually to know how the truly, truly rich, run their empires. Also know that it's really just about knowledge. It's not so much about expense or cost. It's just about knowing how to do it. And yeah, it's been amazing experience to be part of that team of professionals who, whether the CPAs, the legal counsel, and that whole group, and what they do for people is, in my opinion, just off the charts as far as helping people with their wealth building abilities through asset protection, through tax mitigation. And then with a couple of things I know, we just, we make things happen. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. And I'm excited now. I hope you're okay with this, because I think this is really, well, I know this is something I'm excited to learn about. So I kind of want to play devil's advocate and try and shoot any holes that I can into what it is that you do, which we still have to kind of explain, I guess, a little bit more to the listeners. But I do want to, I'm putting you on the spot here, but I'm asking for your permission.
Well, why would you want to do that? Yeah, you got that's what I do every day with my clients. I take their questions and they try to punch holes and we handle it. So not that, so I spent 12 years teaching. So I embrace those challenges of helping educate people. I'm not interested in just, anyway, I appreciate it. I think we should definitely do that.
Okay. And for the record, I do actually really like what it is that you're working on. I could say I don't know all the little details, but from our first conversation, it's very intriguing. So not that you have to convince me, but I just have some thoughts running through my head that I think everyone will probably want to know. So to begin with, one sales pitch or one line that I've observed you using on LinkedIn, and I think you probably even mentioned it to me, it's, do you want to live a life financially similar to someone like the Rockefellers? Do you want to stop giving Uncle Sam all of your taxes? Statements that really catch someone's attention. But at the same time, I think they're, you're not just saying it. There's actually a lot of truth and validity to it. We even have a personal friend who who will keep private, but I know that you've been working with him and he seems very happy with whatever, it is that you guys have been working on. So I guess just tackle this.
And more that have not been so vocal on LinkedIn.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about this whole trust setup. I know that it's a very new and unique world to most of our listeners here.
Yeah. So it's a great question. And yeah, it is. I think you said the word new to most listeners. That's probably true. Although the concept of trusts themselves predate back to the biblical days when citizens were forbidden to trade in foreign countries. Trusts were a way that people kind of got around that. It moves into the Middle Ages when kings went off to fight their wars. They put all of their stuff into trusts. It was a way to protect their assets, their palace, their kingdom. Our very Constitution is actually created out of a spendthrift trust. And so a lot of these laws come to us from Europe. Think about this for a second. If you're living in the early 1900s at the turn of the Industrial Revolution, right? And you're a businessman like the Rockefellers, like the DuPonts, like the Vanderbilts, And there's no such thing as a limited there's no such thing as an LLC or an LTD or an S corp or a C corp, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of that stuff existed then. So what do you do to protect your assets? And the answer was always they just use trusts. They just use trusts.
Mm.
So many of these, the spendthrift trust, for example, predates the Constitution itself. And much of trust law predates the Internal Revenue Service as well, especially 1913 when they came up with the whole concept of income tax. So is it new to people? Yeah, many of these things are new to people. Is it new? It's not new at all. It's actually goes further back than pretty much any type of financial instrument that we know of in existence.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that the potential power in setting up a trust is kept so quiet? For example, why I would even say, why is it that you are really the first person that I've ever spoken to about looking into opportunities like this to grow wealth?
Okay. Well, let's first qualify that. I mean, there are millions of trusts. Millions of people in this country own trusts. But at the same time, 90%, probably, if not more, of those trusts are called grantor trusts. And that really just means a person, whether it's a charitable trust or, whether you're just trying to avoid probate, that works. And the idea there is really that, you're just putting money aside for some kind of beneficiary, and it could be protected there and offer various benefits. But there are numerous provisions to trust, lots of them. Like we started, there's grantor, there's non-grantor. There's revocable, there's irrevocable. There is discretionary and non-discretionary. And then, of course, there's spendthrift. And then there's simple and complex as well. So it's really, like any contract, you design it in mind. You design it with the end result in mind. What are you trying to accomplish? So you have kind of like a Lego set, and you got to put it together. You have to make sure all the provisions are there, so that the benefits are there. Now, I think like what you're thinking, like in the back of your mind, is like, well, how come? And I get this question, of course, all the time. How come not everyone does it? And the answer to that is because putting together, it's very hard for me to go into the entire history of this specific type of trust right now. I don't think it's the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually copyrighted. I know that's kind of a strange thing to say about a legal document, maybe the only one that I know of in existence, but it has over 50 different copyrights on this trust. And so there are actually just a very few limited number of people who are able to create the exact document. And exact is very important, because if you're missing any one part of it, it just doesn't work, or it doesn't do everything that it needs to do. Kind of like a car. If you miss, one piece, it might drive, it might not exactly get you exactly what, the perfect ride, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of moving parts in this trust, and it is got, like I said, over 50 copyright variations. So unless you have a copyright, own the copyright, bought the copyright, again, there's only very few firms that actually work with the economic strategist together exclusively. You were not going to really hear about it from anyone else. That being said, since 1998, we have put nearly 30,000 trusts into existence. So it is kind of catching on, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah. So one hurdle that I've observed with individuals and why maybe they would stay away from, potentially we'll just say working with you, is they're concerned about their time and their money. Oh, it's going to take so much time to set that up. I don't have time to learn that. Or two, setting up a trust is ridiculously expensive. I think those are two objectives that I've observed. Mm-hmm. How do you normally approach a response to that?
Well, that's a great question. And my answer will usually be something like this. You have a choice, I guess. You're more than welcome to send your money to Uncle Sam. He'll be happy to take it from you. We'll be happy too. But at the same time, when we take it, we just take it once, and then you no longer have to pay him. But if that doesn't sound like a good idea, you're certainly welcome to keep paying the IRS for the rest of your life. And we wish you good luck, with that. So if you look at it from the point of view of cost savings, it becomes a non-issue, to be honest with you, because typically the cost of a trust, do the cost benefits analysis, and if you're even going to become a client of ours, it would be so far less than what your tax liability actually is that it's almost hard not to want to do it. And the only thing that people are left with is this incredible excitement about, wow, I could really do that. And then just kind of realize, like, can this really be true? I mean, I need to do my research, and that's fine. We provide them with a credibility package. We got, hundreds of pages that they can read about the legalities and the ins and outs and the case law and the IRS law and everything else they want to, till they're satisfied, and that's fine. The truth is, like you said, at the end of the day, it's really just a simple question. It's not a question. It's just like, I'm going to either save more money than I'm going to spend or I'm not. And most people in business look for opportunities where they could, save more money than they're going to spend. And so it just kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other question you said? That you said, I forget the other one. Since I got carried away on my other question.
No, that was a great reply. And so for me, one thing that also runs through my head is there's a lot of, I would say, accredited investors out there, whether they are working a 9 to 5 with a good salary, or they're an entrepreneur running their own business. Something that's really popular that I've observed is, paying less in taxes by using the right strategies with your 401k or your IRA. There's some pretty unique loopholes in that sector of what we're talking about. But what makes this one, I should say, really even better?
Yeah, and of course, I said that to people. I say, the Roth IRA. Who 40 years ago would have thought that there was this way to make money and defer your taxes, right? And then all of a sudden, 401k comes up, and then 15 years later, someone comes up with the Roth IRA, right? It's not like these things have always been around. People learned about it and they became mainstream and they started using it. Now, what you just described are two very traditional ways to defer taxes on a portion of your income, correct?
Correct.
That's what those things do. Now, they have all kinds of limitations because they're very regulated. So yes, you're deferring your income, but you can't really use it until a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when you do decide to take it out, you get taxed. If it's a 401k, if it's in a Roth IRA, then you pay it up front.
Right.
For a period of time, like your main working years, you start 30, you really can't touch that money until you're 60 or so. So, and during that time, that money grows taxable. The advantages of a trust, to the point of your question, would be, you're deferring not just a portion of your income, but potentially deferring your entire income, business and personal. And on top of that, whereas with the 401k plan, you don't have access to that money till a later time, and at that point, taxes become due. With the trust, with this specific type of trust, not any trust, but this specific type of trust,
mm-hmm.
You still maintain full control as a trustee of the assets within the trust. Your deferment is in perpetuity. So every 21 years, you essentially renew the trust. And that's how the very wealthy in this country just keep kicking the can down the road.
Mm.
And really, at the end of the day, pay single digit taxes, if not really, not almost just basically nothing.
Cool. We're getting near the end here. I wish, like you said, we could keep going. We could probably keep going here for a while.
Yeah. Typically, we'll spend weeks sometimes with a client over 5 or 6 individual 1-hour sessions, getting them acquainted and settled into what this instrument does and how to use it in their lives, not under any preconceptions that we can accomplish everything in 20 minutes. But I'm hoping just to give people a kind of a taste of what's possible.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And we're definitely getting your contact information in the show notes for anyone who wants to dig a little deeper. But one more question here before we get to our fun ones, and that is referencing that demographic that we talked about. The accredited investor who is working a 9 to 5 and maybe using one of those 401k IRA options of tax deferment. I'm thinking, because of their life, their job commitments, they're probably very busy. And so being able, as we just mentioned, being able to find the time to just sit down with you or get on the phone with you and talk this through is something that maybe they just might not feel like they have the time to do. To those individuals listening right now, what would you have to say to them?
Okay, so first of all, actually, I've been thinking about this now for a couple of days. I'm going to be doing a webinar, I believe, soon, and that will be kind of available to people to listen at their own, on their own time. They can, that should help people. Secondly, I would just say this is like any other business decision that takes time to understand. So while they're running their businesses and evaluating, their real estate deals, and business is all about assessing, evaluating, and moving forward. If you don't have time to do that, then that could be a bigger problem, not just for me and what I do, but just for you as a business person. You need to be thinking about these things. You need to be spending time with your advisors and people that you trust to move your business forward. And that's what it's all about. We don't know everything, and that's what we rely on others to share that information with us. So it's a business decision like anything else. Do I have an hour to find out how I can seriously limit my tax liabilities and protect my assets? If you don't have that hour, you might end up spending hours and hours and maybe years in court fighting lawsuits and judgments and all kinds of other things. So it's a choice like everything else. So I would say it's a well worth, definitely worth. I've spent months, to be honest with you, studying this instrument personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would think that person should have an hour to at least let me give them what I've taken months to learn, and then they can always make a decision for themselves. But like I said, I will be putting out a webinar about it to people access on free time to, start and stop and get what they can. So that should be coming out soon. I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Okay.
So.
Perfect. Yeah. We'll even, like I mentioned in the show notes, we'll have your contact information. So if anyone listening wants to join in on Yaron's webinar or teaching sessions, you can reach out to him directly.
Yeah. You know what you do this thing, like you ask these these 2-part questions.
Uh-huh.
The memory that I have, I feel like I just got to one of, I keep I answered one and not the other. So there's something like in the back, like I forgot something else he asked me about, and I don't know what he said. But anyway,
it'll pop up. That happens to me. You're not the only one. I think that actually makes you more relatable to hopefully everyone listening right now.
All right.
But that's cool. Yaron, this has been a blast. Here are your fun get to know you questions. I'm just going to shoot them out here for you, and then you can answer them accordingly. So first one is, what is your favorite thing about your hometown, Boston? Second one is, I had to ask you this one. What is your favorite pizza place there in Chicago? And number 3, and I'm guessing probably for privacy reasons, maybe you get creative with this one, but who is your favorite client?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I'm happy that you mentioned my hometown being Boston, not Chicago, because I happen to like a lot more about Boston than I do Chicago.
Okay.
So I would say, actually, I love the history of Boston. I absolutely love the history, American history. It's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of of Boston that I've always enjoyed. Okay, pizza. Okay, so I got to tell you this. So pizza, of course, as an Orthodox Jew who has a strictly kosher diet,
mm-hmm.
I'm limited in my pizza options. We don't use milk and meat together. So for me, pizza is always just kind of simple pizza and cheese,
mm-hmm.
maybe some veggies. And this is an ongoing debate with my children, actually. I have 9, and all of them prefer. Actually, there's groups here. So we have a couple of great pizza restaurants in Chicago, kosher pizza restaurants. We have a place called Tel Aviv, and we have a place called Chalavi. You can pronounce that. I'll give you $100.
All right.
And we have a place called EJ's, and anyway, we got a few. Not like not on every block. So I hope nobody comes after me for this, but I like Tel Aviv. That's my pizza place.
Okay.
On California, yeah, I like that pizza. So. There's the pizza question.
Favorite client?
Oh, who's my favorite? I thought you were asking me what my favorite movie was. Okay. That'd be my favorite client. Well, my favorite type of client is someone who's willing to think out of the box along the lines that I'm used to thinking. It doesn't always happen that way, but it's always
mm-hmm.
easier when people have an open mind. People that run their own businesses as opposed to W-2 employees, so investors and business owners. Or if you're a business owner and pay yourself a W-2, that's fine too. But it just gives you more control over how you would be able to use a trust like this. Oh, and that goes back to just a question. That was your second part of that last question, by the way. So you were talking about accredited and W-2 employees, people that are 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
W-2 people that are working 9 to 5 are typically not our ideal client, by the way.
Okay.
But people that are in business for themselves and or are investing in real estate or any other thing for that matter, Bitcoin, I don't know, baseball cards, or whatever people are buying and selling and making money doing, right? That would be a good candidate. So, yeah.
Cool.
So that's where we're at.
All right. Well, Yaron, what is the best way for my listeners to get in touch with you?
Best way is just reach out to me on LinkedIn, introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, what you're trying to do, and I'll try to help you out. And you can reach me on my phone number, which is 508-410-3831. And if I don't pick up, I'll leave a message. I am kind of careful. I usually hesitate to pick up calls I don't recognize the number from.
Mm-hmm.
And if people leave me a message, it least tells me that they're serious. So those are the ones that are more likely to get a call back. Yeah. So those should be two good ways to reach out to me. If I could help, I'd love to.
Perfect. Thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. It was a blast, as you said it would be.
Thanks. Guys, thank you for tuning into Dream Chasers, Interviews with the Future. We will catch you in the next episode. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.